Hello, Nationwide. Welcome back to our COVID Industry Impact Series. This afternoon, we're here with Jeremy Andrus, who's CEO of Traeger Grills. Hey, Jeremy, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. How are you?
Not be better. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate your time.
Happy to be here.
Where are you physically now? You're in Utah?
Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm sitting in my office. I'm one of two people in this massive place. I come in on Mondays to film our morning show that we broadcast around the world.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So everyone else is working remote, or is that because you kind of have everyone scattered around?
Yeah, we are 4 weeks and 2 days into working remotely. And who's counting? Like in COVID years, this feels like forever. And honestly, no offense, I'm so tired of Zoom calls.
Yeah.
Like we spend so much time on video calls these days, and I kind of miss seeing my team. I see their faces, but like the energy of walking down the hall, like everything that happens in an office for us is so important to the energy of our brand, and we're doing the best we can.
I agree with you, and you're right. We were laughing. You can't walk away from someone. You can walk away from someone in the office. It's hard to walk away on a video call. It's like you just see an empty chair.
You're in. That's exactly right.
Well, you guys have done, it's amazing. It feels like just yesterday, but it was 3 years ago you were in Winston-Salem when we were kind of putting the final kind of brushstrokes on a program for our independent retailers. And since then, you guys have continued to be one of our fastest growing brands. The culture, kind of the passion, that fun-loving kind of laid-back style you guys bring, I think has been phenomenal. So I'm sure you guys are doing amazing things through COVID. How has this really affected your kind of day-to-day business and the people in your organization?
Boy, there's so many moving pieces of this whole thing. And, this is one of the case studies that was never written because this just doesn't happen twice in a lifetime. And so we're learning. Honestly, it's like we're working harder now than ever. And at first it was just to figure out what we're dealing with. Like what's going to happen with this category, with our brand. Are people, are they going to keep cooking? Are they going to buy grills? What's going to happen with cash in the bank? What's going to happen with the liquidity of credit lines? Like day one, we just said, we don't know what's going on. So we need to, number one, sort of retrench and talk about what do we know? And number two, get data as fast as we can. We need to talk to our customers every day. We need to look at anything that indicates demand for our products so we can manage supply chains, so we can take care of customers. And, honestly, it's almost hard to believe that we're only 5 weeks into this conversation and we're feeling much better about where we are. But initially our plan was, what matters the most? Health and safety of our people. We have to, we have nothing if we don't take care of our people. So we sent everyone home. We started working remotely. We took our sales guys out of the field. We said, until we understand what we're dealing with, you need to be very cautious about where you travel and how you travel. We need to learn to service customers over video, over phone, until we understand better. And there are some shifts. I mean, consumers are behaving differently now than they did, 30 days ago. And so, like, really getting this feedback loop from the field, from our customers, all the consumer insight work that we're doing every day, it's informing us on how we can run our business and how we can continue to grow, even during a moment where, the broader macro economy just kind of feels a little bit dire.
Yeah. We've seen, in the appliance space, Q1 actually was okay. The business was okay. I think some people jumped in for refrigeration and freezers, and so people were in the market. But I think, to your point, the unknown and what's happening, and people kind of concerned about what happens tomorrow is
yeah.
How have you guys seen supply chain?
So it's been a bit of a moving target. Now we're in a better place now than we were 6 weeks ago, which is interesting. We watched this whole thing unfold in Asia. And so, from late December until, a month ago when this went from being China's problem to our problem. I was talking to my GM of our Asia operation every day. And when we went into Chinese New Year or Lunar New Year, we had a couple of challenges. One is our November, December, January just hit the cover off the ball, just crushed our forecast. So already we were in a deficit from an inventory perspective. And then this hit Asia, hit China. And fortunately, we had enough diversification in our sourcing base and sort of a portfolio of key subcomponents that we were able to catch back up. But now it's working very smoothly. Now in the U.S., what we're focused on the most is our consumable supply chain, pellets, which we produce here in the United States. And so I would say on balance, we're in a really good spot. I talk to other CEOs that when I say that, their response is, "You've got to be kidding me. Like, you guys are okay from a supply chain perspective?" And I said, "Yeah, it's been a little bit hand to mouth. It's been a little bit painful. It's been a lot of late night Asia calls, et cetera. But we're in a good spot. We've tracked it carefully, and we've got a good ops team. And I think at this point, the question is really turning our focus to our retail partners and understand how are we doing, how are we executing? What do you think the next 90 days looks like? Just so we make sure that we're positioned to provide the right level of service. But I think at this point, we are in control of our destiny from a supply chain perspective."
Yeah, well, that's great news. That's, it's something we've talked about too. I think, so whether it's, Zoom calls or working remotely, digital advertising, we've seen so many changes in such a short period of time. And it was always those changes that, our members and even their consumers thought, "Nah, I'm never going to be that guy." That's for somebody else. Yeah. But being forced to have to do it has changed a lot of things. And I think, we look at our independent retailers and even, us as an organization, I think we're going to come out of this stronger than we went into it with some of these kind of newfound, paths to either purchase or just communication.
I totally believe that. Look, this is never waste a good crisis. We didn't choose it. I wish it weren't here. But I think the question is, how do we not only weather this, but how do we succeed in this? And how do we make sure that we come out positioned to be stronger? And, you mentioned a couple of there. One is the use of technology in our business. How does technology, not a scary thing, but like a real enabler of customer experiences and partnership management? Consumers, this whole consumer decision journey has changed a lot in the last 30 days. And we'll eventually go back to not normal. I think there's some shifts that will forever be here, but there'll probably be a new normal, and consumers will continue to behave a little bit differently. And so I think the question that we're asking ourselves is, how do we position ourselves in a way that it's not a short-term mindset, that there's strength that comes out of this for our business? And that's often what happens in difficult economic moments. The best companies say, we're not just hunkering down to survive this thing. We're going to figure out, how do we pick up market share along the way? Revenue, the category may come down, but how do we pick up market share so that when things start to really grow again, we are better positioned than our competition? One of the things that we've talked a lot about over the last month is there are two things that get cut quickly in recessions. One is your marketing spend, and the other is your investment in R&D, product innovation. And we stepped back and said, we're really well positioned. We're growing. We're not going to cut these things. We did initially, like the first day, say, okay, like top of funnel brand, we gotta slow that down for a few weeks till we figure out what's going on. And I literally just came out of a leadership meeting, and the conversation was, how do we make sure that we're playing offense and product innovation? We want to be the only guys innovating when everyone else is cutting their R&D spend. And how do we make sure that we're picking up market share because we are investing in marketing. Now the investments have changed. I mean, we were a very sort of local, sort of event-driven marketing model. We can't do that. Can't send our culinary team all over the country cooking and handing out samples. But our customers engaged. And so the question is, how do we make sure that we're not stopping the investment? We're pivoting in terms of how we communicate with our customer.
I love it. That's actually, it's a great message for, our members as well, right? It's the perfect time to do calisthenics and get ready for, the next big race. And
you bet.
I think with how independent retailers have treated kind of their consumer base during this, with whether it's information or, just feeling comfortable in a store or delivery, and how some big boxes have reacted, I think puts us in a better position coming out of this. And I think
I totally agree. Listen, this is interesting, and you see this. What does big box tend to do? It's efficiency.
Yeah.
How do we cut hours on floor? How do we optimize? How do we optimize for all of these things? And I think this is where you start to see consumer loyalty that's earned really play out. They're going to go back to who took care of them on a personal level. I also believe that, this is one of those moments where you can invite them back because there is a level of service that you couldn't find 30 days ago in big box store. And that's only moving one direction. So I think you're right. I mean, you've got a collection of members who are known for creating great shopping experiences. This is when you really fall back on that capability.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And that's what we're talking about. So, I don't know when we get on the backside of this curve and we start planning the business going forward, but I think partnering with Traeger and, putting our arms around each other and saying, this is where we're going to go, as a partnership is going to be important as we lead our members out of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, we look forward to that.
Anything else going on with you guys that you'd like to share with our team or our members?
You know what? So, we think this is an opportunity. One of the things that there are a couple of, one is sort of an analog from a prior recession that we found was interesting. Premium appliances grew during the last recession. Price point appliances struggled. And I think that's interesting to note that there will continue to be a premium buyer in this market, and there will be winners and there are losers. And so positioning is important. We're a premium brand, and we have now 5 weeks of data since we'll call it T0 of COVID, and we're still seeing a lot of demand for our brand. What we saw early on was pellet sales just spiked. And we looked at that and we said, does that last? Like, are people panic shopping and buying, the toilet paper, water, and Traeger pellets? Like, I'd love to think that we're part of the panic shopping. But one of the things that we're doing that's been interesting is we're actually tracking daily cook cycles. We've got a couple 100,000 connected grills in the market. And so we're tracking cook cycles. Our customer, every week since this thing started, we are seeing our Traeger Nation cook more than they did Super Bowl weekend. It's unbelievable. So there is a very strong trend towards home cooking. I guess that's not surprising. You're at home, weather's getting nice, you got to eat, people aren't going out, they're getting tired of ordering in. And so that's a very strong trend. So what we're very focused on right now, really 3 things. Drive innovation. We need to innovate and launch really wonderful, beautiful new products next year. How do we make sure that when our retailers are going through our partners that we are in the field servicing, that they hear from us more often? How do we make sure that we are empathetic of the challenges and that we are not there trying to sell more product to them? We are there trying to help them find solutions and support them in them selling more product through to customers. And the third piece is our customers are really engaged. Like, social media right now is through the roof. People are at home. They're on their devices. Our engagement has just absolutely gone through through the roof. I mean, like I've never seen anything like it. And so we're really pivoting around the things that we're doing. A lot more content. We started a weekly cooking class. We used to do a shop class. We take it on the road around the country. Can't take it on the road. So we're doing it live. Last week we did it from Diva Q's backyard. This week we're doing it from Matt Pittman's backyard. And we're going to do one of these every week. They're free. We just want people to come and learn to cook. And so you'll see we're making a lot of marketing investments, but we're doing it very thoughtfully with, you know, some shifting consumer patterns in place. We really believe that, you know, the rest of the business has got to continue to operate. But if we focus on innovate the product, support our retail partners, drive demand creatively, differently than we have historically have, then, you know, we're going to play offense. We're going to grow, and we're going to help our retail partners grow as well.
That's another great message for independent retail, right? If we could follow those same 3 steps, we're gonna touch a different clientele. We're gonna sell a better mix, and we're gonna be you know, in their face in different areas. And I think there's a huge opportunity for us to partner doing that.
Absolutely.
You know, it's interesting. You talk about kind of the Traeger Nation, like those people that are already, you know, Traeger files. You guys have a name for them, by the way? The Traeger file?
You know what? It's Traeger Nation. We are a community. We are one. And only because I don't have a better answer for it.
Come up with one of those.
I will.
But at any yeah. But those are the folks within Traeger Nation are cooking more, right? And everyone's cooking at home more. I think that there's an opportunity for us. Those people that are not in Traeger Nation are probably, you know, outside because their grill was always an afterthought. It's just on the back deck, and they're going to do burgers. And if they're not going to do burgers, they'll go out to dinner somewhere. Well, they can't go out to dinner, right? So now they're stuck using something that's less than, you know, the best. And so I think there's an opportunity for us to kind of put a program together.
You know what? It's been interesting to watch some intersecting trends. One, people are on social media more. They have time to cook more. They're grilling more in their backyard, and they're doing more low and slow stuff because they have time to be home and sort of check in. But then they're sharing on social media what they're cooking. Yesterday, Easter Sunday was unbelievable, the amount of low and slow content, and it was absolutely beautiful. Actually, I last night I was going to bed and I was just checking some of the social things, and I see this unbelievable post by Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah.
He cooked this amazing lamb dish, and he's just evangelizing. He cooked it. He wasn't planning to post it. He loved it, and we're seeing a lot of that. So right now, it's not just about food. It's about time with family. It's about time to cook. It's also about time to develop a new hobby. This is a hobby, like people fall in love with it. So we think there's a lot to like. I mean, of course, like all of the negative things we wish would go away, but we're going to position the best we can. We're going to turn this into a positive moment. We think there's a lot to like about how our brand is positioned right now.
I love it. And I agree with you. I think, like I said before, there's an opportunity for us to come out of this stronger than we went into it. And
yeah.
That's what we're looking for. You know, that's the silver lining of this for sure.
You bet.
Well, I appreciate your time today. Truly, thanks for taking the time with us. I know, like I said, you guys are one of our fastest growing brands, and we are definitely hooked into Traeger Nation.
Thank you. You know, we've got a whole slew of guys in the field. We love doing business with you guys. We love your members. We love the progress. The partnership has just been really productive and really positive. And one of the great benefits that you get when you run a small brand is the ability to invest with partners that you like to do business with. This is one that we really value, and we appreciate it. And like I said, we want to earn our partnership right now. We want to be part of the solution. Whatever we can do to support your members in the field, we are there 100%.
Feeling mutual. Thanks again for your time.
Awesome. All right, take care. Thanks.